think last season, Derby City was in town. Because there was a women's football doubleheader that did happen last year.
Yeah, they played...
the Detroit Dark Angels.
They played the Power, I think, last year.
No, they didn't. Oh. They played the Detroit Dark Angels of the WFA.
Yeah.
And Music City played Cleveland.
They played Derby City.
Nope, it was a doubleheader because Derby City played Detroit.
Yeah, they did.
Music City played the Cleveland Fusion. They were playing against Inky Williams' team. They were playing his team.
I'm surprised your bunch hasn't,
Yeah, we're going to do a friendly scrimmage with Derby City in February. We're nowhere near Cleveland Fusion's caliber, because if we try to play them, we're going to wind up destroyed.
No, I'm not saying playing. I'm not saying playing Cleveland Fusion. I'm just saying playing Derby City in that game at Nissan Stadium.
Yeah. It was right after the Titans-Chiefs game.
Mm-hmm. Right after it.
But it never got televised. That was the problem. Because if it did, ESPN would have televised. ESPN3 actually did televise it.
And once again, for those that can't find ESPN3, you ain't missing much. I believe that is now ESPN Plus.
Mm-hmm. Which is part of Disney Plus. For those of you who want to watch it, you have to subscribe to Disney Plus because it's mixed in with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're willing to afford to pay $25 a month.
Yeah, if you're willing to shell out some bucks.
Now, we're going to do a little soliloquy, I like to call football game or a wrestling match. And we're going to do a little equivalent to it, too. Starting off, it's going to be cousin versus cousin in a Hell in a Cell. Roman versus Jay. And back in the day, Roman Reigns played for Georgia Tech.
Yes, he did.
While his cousin played for Western Arkansas.
Probably a D2 or D3 school.
Yeah, it was Western Arkansas was a D3 school, and he was a DB. And his twin brother was a linebacker.
Mm-hmm.
So football, not only wrestling runs in the Illinois family, football does too.
I'm trying to think.
You got Roman, Jimmy J, and The Rock. Wrestlers who were former football players.
And speaking of The Rock, Vince McMahon and The Rock worked out a deal for the XFL, where The Rock would now be the head honcho of it. And if anybody can,
and so will his
XFL,
and so will his baby mama,
his ex,
Danny Garcia.
But if anybody can pull off getting something off the ground and making it work,
it'll be The Rock.
So what was it, 7 Cent Productions or whatever it was?
Yep.
Where he told the story that he only had 7 cents to his name at the beginning. If you go back and listen to that if you go back and listen to the podcast Imagined Life, they had his story up there.
Yep.
And that was some awesome crap.
And for those of you who might not know this, Vince McMahon was never born in Connecticut. He was born in the Tar Heel state.
But you can.
He was born in a trailer park in Charlotte, North Carolina.
And speaking of
to a mother who wanted to keep him and a dad who didn't want him.
Oh boy.
So he was raised by Vincent Kennedy McMahon Sr.
Who was
his mother later married.
Yep, and of course
inherit the WWE.
In the WWF at the time.
And now he left it to his son-in-law, and daughter-in-law. Mm-hmm. Right now, his son-in-law runs NXT.
And yes, the McMahons basically killed the territory system.
Yep.
They basically ate the territorial system and swallowed it whole.
Yep.
to the point of where you don't have Southern, Northern, Eastern, or Western Championship Wrestling no more.
Nope.
It's now under one big engulfment.
Yeah. And since COVID kicked in, everything is happening under the Thunderdome, mostly virtually. You got fans subscribing.
Thunderdome from that, what was it? Mad Max 4?
Yep. And for those of you who haven't watched Friday Night SmackDown last night, it was a premiere. And there was also a farewell for the New Day as they parted ways. Big E is staying on the blue brand, while his friends Kofi and Xavier went to the red brand and swapped the titles with the Street Profits.
Go figure.
Yep.
And oh yeah, there's a Game 7 in the American League Championship Series between the Astros and the Rays.
Yep.
That's in progress right now. And the Braves have had 2 opportunities to close the Dodgers out and have failed in both endeavors. So that means Braves and Dodgers will have a 1-game winner-take-all for the National League Championship Series tomorrow.
Yeah.
At 7:08.
And this is probably going to be long overdue for me, but double congratulations are in order to the LA Lakers. The Lakers for winning their 17th NBA final.
And tying their ever-popular rivals to the East, the Boston Celtics.
And
as the Lakers and Celtics are back tied.
And to LeBron King James with his 4th championship. With his 3rd team.
With his 3rd team.
Yes.
And also
2 with the Heat.
And also congratulations are in order to the now tying WNBA champion, Seattle Storm.
Yep.
As they officially tied the, I wish they were still in the WNBA. Please, somebody worth their salt, bring them back. Because I love me some Houston Comets women's basketball. Back in the day. Mm-hmm. Anybody worth their salt, please, get Van Chancellor out of retirement. Houston Rockets, step to the forefront, please.
It's the Houston Comets.
Pony up the quiche. And get that women's basketball team back where they belong.
Well, actually, the Comets never even left the WNBA.
Well, the Seattle Storm knocked out the Las Vegas Aces in the finals into.
Yep. And for those of you who are watching the Marshall and the Louisiana Tech game, here's a little history knowledge for you about the Marshall Thunder and Herd. You realize it's been a long time since the Thunder and Herd football team has played. Not since they lost their original 1976 football team. The entire team and the sports booster in a plane crash on Thanksgiving.
And by the way, if you have not watched the movie We Are Marshall, I would suggest you do.
Because it's actually true.
Because one person out of all that survived, and he was supposed to be on that particular flight.
And he was the assistant coach, just been made the head coach by the school. Yep. And all in the B squad, the whole entire B squad is not the entire team.
It had to be.
Yeah, the main team, the head coaching staff, the main coaching staff, and the boosters, all dead.
And about, what was it, and about how many players out of that? 25?
Yep. Because originally,
I know that.
Oh, wait a minute, yeah, and one of the players actually did survive. Because he never got on the plane either.
Yeah.
So, folks, if you haven't watched We Are Marshall, I suggest you should. That's a piece of significance there. That led Marshall to come back from the brink of despair after the loss of the 1970 team.
They were dead.
Literally.
They were toast. And we're talking literal and figurative, because they had literally nothing to go on. They couldn't even work two nickels together to make a dime.
And that's till that one man whom they thinks they should have been on that plane had turned it around, made the entire town remember that they are martial and they are strong. And for those of you who haven't watched another one about martial, it's called And the Game Stood Still. You should watch that too. Because it's about the 1971 Martial 300 football season.
And if you are a 30 for 30 nerd, I would suggest you go watch Death Penalty School. The story of Southern Methodist University.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, more like the Pony Express.
And for those of you who are Carolina Panthers fans, former Panther Ray Caruth had been placed on parole after he got released from prison last year. He's now living in New York. And he's been trying to make amends for the last 20 years. And for those of you who might not know this, Ray Caruth was locked up for the last 26 years.
For killing his girlfriend and attempting to murder their kid.
Yep.
Luckily, the kid survived.
Yep. His youngest son, Chancellor.
Yep.
He's got an older son, too. Chance.
How about that?
And to make up for this, the Panthers made them honorary fans for life.
How nice. Before Mr. Richardson basically had to sell the team. Let's not get into that fiasco. The NFL's version of the NBA's Donald Sterling. Another black cloud of shame that we will not discuss on this podcast. Up and now, thank you.
No, not unless you wanted to enter into a new podcast called "What the Hey." I could just spout out about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like things that can't go wrong. Will go wrong.
Shall we preview the wild and wacky world of what the heck's going to happen to Miru?
Yes.
Before we close up shop.
Let's.
It's going to be a short one because we all want to get back to enjoy the Bama Georgia extravaganza of defensive brouhaha.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of folks are going to be locked into the Steelers-Browns game. I think this is just me. But if anybody can make life miserable for Baker Mayfield and crew,
it'll be Big Ben.
Tomlin's boys. Because my Tomlin's boys, they play street fight football defensively.
Yeah.
As Carson Wentz found out last weekend. And is it me? Or has Carson Wentz looked more scared this year than I can ever remember him being in his history?
Nah, he's more scared than he was last year.
Thought so.
I mean, they got rid of their Super Bowl quarterback Nick Foles, though. Why? And send him to the Dolphins to be back up to none other than Ryan Fitzpatrick.
And waiting in the wings to a Tagovailoa.
Yeesh.
And the Fishies have done pretty well.
Yes.
Kicking the crap out of a very injury-riddled and almost beleaguered 49ers football team.
Yep.
With a quarterback that's more lost.
Now, looking at this season in the NFL, already the Giants, the Jets, and the Falcons got first, second, and third first-round overall draft picks already.
And I think that will be a safe bet that you can go ahead and lock those in now.
Yep. Because the way I see it, because when a team loses, and I found this out back in 2010, the losing team with the worst record, the worst season, picks first. Because the Titans did that and wound up with Mariota in 2010.
And that was a nightmare and a half.
That